Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm very new on YouTube, so if you like my content, you can subscribe to support me. Here's a sneak peek on next week's content. Global warming, climate change, and environmental pollution are overwhelmingly big and complex problems facing humanity. As individuals, we tend to feel guilty yet powerless toward them. What can we do? Does it make a difference? We're not the only one at fault. What about other people? At the end of the day, it's just better for our mental well-being to ignore the grim thoughts, put the blame on somebody else, and wait for the big corporations and government to handle them. And it would make sense to expect that. After all, they are the one with the most power. They should be handling global matters like this. It wouldn't make much of a difference if we choose to take the cab instead of public transport, eat fast food instead of vegetables. Or is it? I have heard people saying things like, every action has an impact. If people do it enough, there will be a difference. It's an obvious truth that everybody has an impact on global warming. The question is, how much? If my actions only make a 0.001% dent, it would be difficult to find the momentum to do anything at all. So I did a small experiment to find out how big of an impact my actions have by performing zero-waste shopping for 1 month. Now I've seen people making videos about their zero-waste experience before, but none of them went the extra mile to record their total waste reduction, which is quite disappointing because they just wasted an opportunity to gain a better understanding of their own waste generation rate. Sure, there are organizations that produce figures for this, but you have to remember that their estimation is often the country's average, so it tends to be very general. For a little bit of context, 2 things you need to know about me is that 1, I live alone, so the waste I produce are mine waste. And 2, like most people in my country, when I buy my groceries, I just use the plastic bags promptly and readily handed to me by the vendors. Now the recording part is fairly simple. For 1 month after every trip to the market, I just counted the number of plastic bags I managed not to use by bringing my own bag and containers. That is it. So at the end of the 1 month period, I just need to calculate the total number. Now I can give you the results right now, but let's first talk about why there aren't more of us doing things like this, or any other eco-friendly changes for that matter, like bringing reusable straws or changing to a more plant-based diet. Not entirely, just more plant-based. These are all good changes, and there's little to no drawback to them at all. The funny thing is, most of us know this. Most people know that there's a lot of waste, that plastics takes a lot of time to break down, and eating less meat is good for you, not just the environment. So this is not a matter of ignorance. What it is a matter of unfamiliar changes, human social tendencies, and certain cultural associations. Most of these changes require us to put more effort into everyday tasks or form new habits. So basically more work. And this goes against our brain's tendency to conserve energy. Not only that, as humans, we don't like changes, especially when the old way of doing things provide more convenience than the new way. This is a problem, as longevity and convenience aren't always an accurate predictor of goodness. Moreover, as humans are social creatures, we have evolved a mental shortcut to determine what to think, say, do, and buy, called the principle of social proof. To learn what is correct, we look at what other people are doing. Another explanation is the associations we have toward different things. One of which I find very fascinating is the fact that research has consistently shown that men are half as likely as women to go vegan or vegetarian. They suggest that a reason men eat meat is that it makes them feel like real men. One recent study demonstrated that when men have a low self-esteem surrounding their manhood, they are likely to increase their red meat consumption to compensate. So it's not easy getting people to adapt to new changes, and talking about all of this can be stressful. So take a deep breath if you need to. Now for those of you who are still hesitant to take actions, ask yourself, do you want to live? I'm not joking. Sometimes it feels like we're forgetting how fragile we humans can be, and how we may not survive if the living conditions change. If your answer is yes, then bringing a reusable bag shouldn't be of any difference than saving money or exercising. It's just another future investment in yourself and your children. Sure, you may have your worries about the future, but if that hasn't stopped you from putting aside your money, why should it stop you with this? Nobody likes doing things like this, but that's not an acceptable excuse. We all have to do things we don't enjoy, but it does get better with time. You will get used to it, and it will take less of your willpower to perform eco-conscious habits. If you are concerned that there isn't much you can do to change things around, my question to you is, have you at least tried? If not, then your statement is simply invalid, having no personal nor statistical support behind it. And now for the result. In 1 month, I managed to prevent 60 plastic bags from going to the environment through zero-waste shopping. That's about 2 bags per day or 720 bags per year. Is that a lot? Yes, it is. Was it difficult to do? In the first few trips, yes. At first, it was quite inconvenient, having to carry different boxes with me to the market. Another problem I encounter is with the habit of the vendors. I guess they just automatically assume that I need a plastic bag, even when I told them about my tote bag. If you guys were to do zero-waste shopping, I recommend that you also do the recording part. It doesn't take up too much time, and it kinda gives you something to expect at the end of every grocery trip. Thank you for listening.